They will take a mile. But, ladies and gentlemen, we are on 2 picks and bans for JDG versus Top Esports. Top Esports going in with a 1-game advantage. We can see here now the Syndra, the Kaiser being banned, and the Twisted Fate and the Pantheon. So definitely a little bit of a strange kind of setup, and then Illusion. So plenty of different options left open here for both sides.
I'm thinking they want to pick away the Zoe themselves, right? They banned out the Kaiser this time. They take away the Lucian, who's an extremely strong laner in that mid lane matchup. And we know Yagao. Yagao's 2 best champions are LeBlanc and Zoe. So maybe saying, hey, this will be the pivot. We're taking this away from Knight. We're going to pick this one up ourselves.
Yeah, looks like you have got it straight on the money with your crystal ball of predictions. Now, what have you left open for Top Esports to take? They've a plethora of options if they want to go for. You mentioned the Samira. They could lock in their bot lane right now.
Yeah, they can go for the Samira. Maybe even pair the Alistar right now if you feel comfortable and not getting the Olaf. And then go straight for the Gragas pick. We need to remember, this is a triple flex, especially for Top Esports. Karsa has already played this champion twice.
Now, JDG, where do you want to take this one right now? Because you are... No, it's a bot lane, it's Samira. That's 100% for sure, unless we start seeing some really crazy stuff. But again, the Gragas, like you mentioned, super big, flexible pick for them. They actually lock in the Vayne going into the bot side for Loken. So he's looking to just scale and then just outplay these team fights.
And we have seen Loken play this already. He's picked it up twice and has a 100% win rate on it so far this split. You have the Condemned to try to keep that Samira away from you. And now you're going to be the team with a very strong mid-jungle duo with, again, one of the strongest early game jungles in the Olaf and the Zoe constantly giving you that lane prio and looking for those early game river skirmishes.
Well, with the Olaf locked in, we are going to see now JDG just waiting to see what is left for them to go for. The Rel locked in, so now we only got 2 places for that Gragas to go, top or jungle. Hard to see it really going outside of top, just against the Olaf. The Gragas doesn't have a great time in the jungle setup, but with the Rel locked in, you can now focus bans into that bot side and make sure that Vayne is as exposed as possible.
That is true. Maybe take away some potential supports that do offer disengage options, things along the lines of the Alistar. The thing that I wonder is, again, like you're saying, where does this Gragas go? Because Olaf is a very easy time if he ever does find Gragas in the river, but Gragas, of course, is a much more lane-oriented jungler. Obviously, wants to get in, find those ganks. I still expect Karsa to be the one to take it, and you can just pivot into looking for counter pick for top lane, right? You can pick mid on 4 because JDG have already shown Zoe counter pick top on 5, and now sure, you don't have the advantageous one-on-one jungle matchup, but if you have the winning lanes, it doesn't really matter. Olaf can't just walk into your jungle while your lanes are under their turrets.
It's why we've seen so much priority put onto the Viking in the jungle, as we see Aatrox and Gnar banned away by Top Esports, Victor banned away by JDG. You imagine the last ban here could potentially be either an Orianna, maybe go towards the Jace, just to knock out all kind of mid lane champions that could do well into the Zoe.
And yeah, I wonder where TS will go with this, because another answer you think of that's commonly into the Zoe is a Twisted Fate pick. Oh, actually, I'm sorry, Top Esports banned that themselves. The only other thing off the top of my head that Top Esports has played is we have seen Knight pick up the Rise, but actually, JDG don't ban the Orianna like we expected.
No, they go for the Jace, and then they ban that straight away. It was like, ban Jace, pick Orianna, done. No time to think. And now JDG have to blind pick into the top side. They've plenty of options, in my opinion, for that. They can go whatever the hell they think is going to be the safest one. Renekton is definitely one of those options that can do well into most matchups. And they got a lot of... There's no support bans here, so what do they feel comfortable going into the Rel? And I actually kind of feel like JDG got a lot of what they wanted from this draft.
I agree. And you know, I honestly feel like this would be one of the times where picking something like a Braum, which isn't on meta, wouldn't be half bad with having a Gragas on the early side. You're much more oriented playing towards your top side. But here's the Alistar pick that we mentioned earlier. I actually thought that Top Esports would ban this one out, but at the last second, JDG are changing up to the Leona. I'll be honest, not as big of a fan of this one because this champion is very one-dimensional in the sense that we know it's going to go in. And oh, Karsa pulling out the triangle.
Now, I like this pick. This is a very to your lanes kind of jungle pick right now. This is something that will just take away, of course, all resistance of the enemy carries, but just sets up your lanes so well in the, in terms of ganking, and the extra little bit of clear speed you get with the ice ground, or I can't remember exactly the W anyway, is like, so it keeps you on par with Olaf. So I actually quite like this, and it makes that Olaf pick an awful lot squishier at level 6.
So the thing about it is, it was obviously viewed as a counter to Olaf for a long time because you can drop the pillar and make it so he can't just go and pick up his axe. You also have decent trading in the early game because, your Q does also steal away some AD from the enemy champion. But obviously with the way that the items have shaped up, I definitely think Olaf got a big boon, and this matchup isn't the same as you would think of it in 2020. To be fair though, it's not a matchup we've seen in 2021, so Karsa is going to show us how it's done. And this is what we talked about before the series, that Karsa has been willing to go back towards these unconventional jungle picks that fit the way that top esports want to play. And it was one of his best champions last year.
Yep, I honestly am excited to see how this one works out. And this fits into the narrative of top esports doing what they want to do. They want to play something in jungle that's not meta. They're going to play it. That's just how they go. For JDG, I like what they have. But, and it's a big but, they need to be proactive. They need to know what's going on as we jump onto the rift. We were prepared this time, Lyric. We knew what was coming, and we knew we had to throw it as quick as possible. But back to just finish off my point, I feel like for JDG, you need to be proactive. If you just wait for things to happen, the Samira and Orianna start to scale up and become very big monsters. The ball is in their court in the early game, and they need to make something happen with it.
The thing that I also like that we're already seeing is that TS are very aware of that. We see defensive vision coming out on both sides of their jungle, right? Ward in top jungle entrance, and then Ward in bottom side river. So they realize, hey, you look at top side, Zoom will be able to push in this wave. You look at mid, Orianna will have pressure. And then bot, I think, will be a bit of a stalemate to where, I feel like Jackeylove and Zhuo should at least be having a good time early on in the laning phase. Karsa, most likely going to play around that bot side. I think you can look to make a stop mid if you want. Just drop the pillar, try to force out Yagao's flash. But that's still just going to lead to you trying to accelerate your Samira.
And that's kind of what you want to be doing at all times, is just accelerating. And Loken, I don't think that was the correct move to be going aggressively on top of that. And that is first blood. Oh, no, Loken.
Really tragic.
Oh, that was upsetting.
We also mentioned, right, he's 100% win rate on this champion. He's been performing really well on the Vayne. But not only do they burn all 4 summoner spells to where Jackeylove still has his flash, they also go down in the end. So 1 kill for Jackeylove. They're going to get this wave in. It does look like he's going to end up missing potentially 1 or 2 CS, but he will at least be back to catch most of this wave.
He did lose a full wave of experience, and oh my god, as soon as he tumbled forward, I immediately was like, that doesn't seem like the correct play at all right now, and it just gets absolutely, completely punished by the side of top esports. And that's just how good this bot lane can be for top esports. They know what they are capable of. We can see there the press the attack going to be the rune choice for Karsa on this Trundle. Pretty common if you play him regularly enough in solo queue. It's a easy enough one to take those early game skirmishes, and you kind of just able to sustain up with your chomp, and of course with your pass, or your ultimate, excuse me.
And yeah, that's the thing about it as well, is it brings the early game burst damage, but we also hit on earlier, right, the 6 seconds of amplified damage from all sorts of damage for if you want to go for a gank. So there's also more of the ganking rune as compared to something like a Conqueror that we used to see. But going back towards that bot lane, I love that we didn't see top esports bot lane be like greedy or think they can keep forcing. They go for the recall. They have 2 long swords, and now they have the advantage. They should win all trades. But JDG realized that, and they have Kanavi hover towards the bot side. He's going to be providing them protection while also being able to take this bot side scuttle.
Just needs to be there for his bot lane. Karsa, however, will not be able to trade back for the scuttle on top, as Zoom did get the push and able to keep that one relatively safe. You can see now Kanavi using that advantage to push them up. And this is good from the solo lanes of JDG, making sure that, yes, your bot lane did unfortunately have a bit of a blunder, but it's only first blood. It's not the worst thing in the world. You can still make things work for your team, especially if you can get something like the Olaf going.
And this is the thing, right? We highlighted the importance of having these early prio lanes. And JDG had them this time. I really like that roam over from Zoom, denying Karsa the top side scuttle. Kanavi played her on bot, is now able to double scuttle. He's going to go back into his jungle. He should be able to potentially even just do another full clear towards his bottom side. Recall definitely have, whether it's an Iron Spike Whip, a Phage, and be on his way to a very early and efficient Gore Drinker.
Early, efficient, nicely set up for a little bit of a mid-game skirmish. As we wait to see where JDG want to try and focus. It is a little bit of a shore up the bot lane. You can see the bots are just kind of coming in pretty frequently. You do not want Loken to be going up a mismatched kind of AD carry setup against the Samira, so you have to try and keep as close in the items, disparity as possible. And I do like that from the side of JDG. They're being very respectful to this engage, because Samira's just one of those champions that can just turn on a dime and make everything work in her favor if you give her that opportunity like we saw.
That's true, and I feel like for the side of JDG, that Vayne is going to be massively important to where, you have a bunch of short-range champions, Leona, Renekton, and Olaf. They're all going to be running forward. This isn't like last game where you have something like a Galley who can ult back to you and try to peel. Loken is going to be on his own, trying to get away from Zhuo, trying to get away from Jackeylove after he dashes in, potentially 3-6-9 finding a flank, or even just being conscious of where the Orianna ball is to tumble away from something like that and not get bursted out. So Loken definitely feels like the key member for JDG in this game.
Feels like the key, but can they find the door? No point in having the key if you cannot find the lock to which it opens. And right now, apart from that very early kill, it's going to be pretty standard and safe, I feel, from pretty much both sides. It's going to be very difficult for the Trundle to really take anything unless he has full control of either side of his lanes on that Dragon, or even on the Rift Herald, which will be spawning in 2 minutes' time. But with the bot lane resetting on the side of top Esports, that should lead JDG to be able to take themselves a nice free Dragon. That is a very, very good pickup for them. It stops the stacking from top Esports like we saw in the first game.
We saw Karsa kind of hover around. He was actually just checking to see if Kanavi was there, and he had started it. And in that situation, I feel like top Esports would have contested. He's not there. He recalls. They time that with their bottom lane recalling as well. So they do consciously concede that. And now it's going to be Karsa pathing towards his bot side again. You don't expect him to put any resources into ganking Zoom. Zoom has too many resources to get away from the slice and dice. He has the dominance up and flash as well.
Being very, very patient with Kanavi here as the rest of top Esports back themselves away. JDG trying to see if they could bait out an over-aggressive push, as all summoners are now right and available after that 2-minute skirmish in the bot side. But they gain nothing, a little bit of HP bars, and then everyone backs themselves off. Olaf goes back to farming, and all is right as rain in the world.
And we see that Jackeylove had backed about 30 seconds ago and gotten this Vampiric Scepter. And the fact that we do see Samira go into the Immortal Shield Bow is one of the most annoying things about laning against his champion, that she can index into early lifesteal and take a lot of these trades.
Whoa, let's talk about trades, and this is what I was talking about with Samira. She can just turn and create an opportunity like that. There is no hesitation from this bot side of top Esports, and they get themselves another 2v2 kill.
Amazing performance coming out from this bottom lane. They see the opportunity. Jackeylove is the one who dashes forward. Zhuo follows up, and it's pretty cool because in this bottom lane duo, you can actually see Jackeylove be the one to dash forward, and if Rel's E is obviously on him, you can then pop that with him being the initiator and finding that stun. And overall, top Esports just exploiting JDG's bot lane.
See how it all went down, and Jackeylove just, again, one step too far forward. Loken goes for a little bit of a greed and gets caught.
And he just keeps going. We also see the flash come out from the likes of Zhuo, and they just secure that one. Now we're going to see them hovering towards this mid lane to just make sure that Knight is safe on this Orianna, can push out, and they're probably going to look into JDG's bottom side for vision like we see now.
Yep, you've got the pressure, you've got the priority, you know that there's no one really going to be able to contest you for this. Loken trying to take the Krugs, while the red buff is being stolen. And this is going to be difficult for JDG now. This bot lane is starting to hemorrhage a little bit, and that's not what you want to be seeing. You need to be getting this vein going a little bit earlier, and he talked about how it has got, you know, 100% win rate for Loken. It looks like Top Esports is looking to try and change that.
And right now we see that JDG understand, hey, if we see in the bottom lane, we're going to get dove. Jackeylove could even stack a bigger wave if he wanted. It does look like he has a pretty big wave down there now. They go for this Herald and they head towards the top side. Top Esports should win out on a bit of gold, but let's see if 369 realizes this and gets out of here.
Yep, he had awards. They know straight away where it's all going. They should be able to pick up this first turret. And they're trying to funnel that into Loken. You can see here, explosive cast goes down. Ooh, the flashes are both burned. Loken should be able to pick up this gold, as the Rift Herald will get its final charge. And that was a little dicey there for the JDG jungler. Gets himself out, though, and the mission is, at the end, a success.
I wonder if 369 had held his ultimate, if he would have just been able to outright burst out Kanavi. But still went for the play. I really liked it, trading flash for flash in that situation. He tried to be able to save the turret in the end, but he wasn't able to. We're going to see Jackeylove should be able to take this one down.
Oh, here we go. There's the subjugation coming in as well, the solar flare. But this is Jackeylove, this is Samira, and this is why this pick is so damn difficult to deal with. Lvmao will take the kill and trade 2 for 1, but double kill, 4 kills now onto this Samira. This is starting to snowball away from them.
This is absolutely a mess. We see, okay, sure, Lvmao gets a kill onto Karsa. It doesn't matter. Like you said, 4-0 for Jackeylove. We've seen a lot of Samiras in the LPL, but I don't feel like we've seen any team successfully snowball off a 2v2 laning performance like we are seeing right now.
This is just win lane, win game coming out from the side of Top Esports. You got the Immortal Shield Ball now completely finished up here for Jackeylove, and Samira is one of those snowbally champions. Can feel a bit underwhelming when you don't get those early kills. You're not able to get your ultimate off. It can feel a bit, you know, meh, as a lack of a better term. But when you are able to get those early kills, when you can get those early advantages, it's nigh impossible to start to actually take her down in a team fight because of the just pure utility she has, and also the many escapes she has from either just blocking your abilities or even just the cleanse on her summoners.
Also interesting to note that we see Top Esports giving up this Drake to keep expanding and accelerating the lead that Jackeylove has over Loken. They don't really care about getting that bottom side Drake. They want to keep the experience advantage and keep the gold advantage going, so then when we do come to a future Drake fight, that Jackeylove will be the one to just completely take over.
There's a 2-level difference between these two AD carries, and Loken feels a little bit like a lost cause. And Lvmao, it might be dead as well. He might be dead. It might be 2 people dying. Lvmao flashes, but there is the ice pillar trying to just dissuade anything. They flash in with the magnet. Shockwave does not hit. Lvmao will eventually fall. They will donate that kill over to Knight. They give themselves give over a dragon like you talked about. And this is just becoming very, very difficult for JDG. This Samira, this combination with her and the Rel is going to be so difficult to try and kill off.
And we've seen JDG trying to trade across the map, right? They made the play towards top earlier. They're taking this Drake now. The problem is that we don't see anyone becoming a big enough threat on their team that to where when all the dust settles, we get these 5v5s in front of that third Drake. I don't know who on the side of JDG is going to be the one to step up and carry. Sure, the one good thing is you do have Renekton and Olaf against the composition that you know, Samira theoretically wants to jump in, wants to jump on top of you. Renekton and Olaf love that, but you do still have some zone control tools in the Trundle, in the Gragas, in things like the Shockwave from Knight. So it definitely is looking to favor the side of TS, but let's remember, it's only a 2.3k gold lead right now.
Yeah, the gold lead isn't ballooning out of control. It just feels like it should be when you're looking at it from a point of view of a JDG fan or from a Top Esports fan.
It's all on Jackeylove.
Giving Jackie over. Yeah, pretty much. It is all exclusively on Jackeylove because everyone else, like you mentioned, has gotten relatively even.
Right, we see Zoom winning the top lane matchup slightly like he should. He's about 2 waves up. Kanavi has been pretty much only focused on full clearing his jungle and then taking things like the Drake. And then Yagao just pretty much trading waves in mid. So for JDG, everything else is going stock and center, but TS are just going to keep hammering home on this play of cutting the map, playing around their Samira, and threatening dives and forcing Loken to lose waves.
Okay, well, Kanavi takes back his blue buff. Doesn't go to either mid laner, nor is it stolen. But I feel like right now, like you mentioned, wherever Loken goes, that is now your weak side. That is now where you have to play with utmost respect. You have to play with the utmost caution, and you cannot be caught overextending because you're still a Vayne. You get your first item, you get that Kraken Slayer, hell, even a Gale Force if you're really feeling, you know, you need the extra bit of mobility, but you get that going for you, and you might be able to turn this fight around. If you're immediately killed off, you're less than nothing to your team. Even if you're not worth any gold to the enemy team, you need to be there for your team.
I'd also like to see JDG start trying to find ways back in this game by... Ooh, this was a nice one. Nothing happens.
Happy feet, though, from Knight. Knight, great movement there, able to use the flash and a little bit of happy feet, despite him being exhausted. That is 2 summoners down, though. He had used his TP to get into the lane.
The thing
there is no objective as of yet, though.
When you look at JDG's comp, you need to think, where is their pressure point? How can they rotate members over? There's a few different ways they can look for something, right? You can send Olaf down bot, try to find a kill on 369 and see if you can potentially force a TP out from him, and then try to move Zoom around the map. Even though we're seeing a bunch of trading from them right now, this trading doesn't really matter. You could even hover mid first, put pressure on a Knight, and then bring that down towards bot.
Oh, no. Yagao. Oh, he failed the flash as well. That is unfortunate. He falls. And that is just a mistake that you can't be giving over a team like Top Esports.
It's not, and it's funny enough that I was just talking about JDG should be the ones making that exact play. You bring over Kanavi and Lvmao at the same time. At this, oh god, 369, that was a nice ultimate.
Yeah, but now he has nothing left in the tank apart from his flash available to try and get him something going, but he does get the slice. The dice. Zoom will keep himself alive. Good catch, exactly what you said you wanted to see. They will give over a Rift Herald on the opposite side of the map. And again, this is something that I kind of want to go back to that Zhuo play from Yagao, where it's like, if he doesn't die there, then they get a free kill. They know they're trading the Rift Herald because they know that Loken's on the top side of the map, so they're not going to be able to do anything there. And then you've got yourself a free kill, Electra bit, a little bit of gold. It's just those little small mistakes that keep Top Esports at arm's length in terms of the gold lead that are just plaguing this JDG roster today.
I agree, and I feel like one thing you nailed home earlier, but let's actually see a replay. I don't know if we should. Nice pillar.
No, they're going to slow in on his flash.
Yeah.
He can't get past
He can't. Just really nice pillar from Karsa, honestly. It's, you know, hard to say anything else, but I don't, you know, my point doesn't matter. We get a potential fight. That's how the LPL always is. And right now, JDG are trying to do what Top Esports did last game, controlling these choke points. And for me, it's about Top Esports kind of coming in at a similar angle. It doesn't look like Jackeylove and Zhuo are looking for a potential way to find and engage, though.
Very, very important to know. Kanavi level 11, Karsa's level 9. So there is a 2-level difference in the junglers. This would be sole point for JDG. That is a win condition for this side. Yes, the early game has not gone well, but this could change absolutely everything. Top Esports looking for a flank. They do not know where 369 is. He does not have flash, so it will not be a clean engage. Yagao gets caught. They jump straight in on top of him. He's trying to do as much damage as he can, but he's not. He's caught. He's down. Loken keeping his team. If he can get down the Samira, but the Samira just about survives, and now they can start pushing back onto these members of JDG. It is 4 people dead. Zoom is a big crocodile, but he's all alone in the world. These are low health bars, but there's not a lot he can do. Jackeylove with the Immortal Shield Bow, able to do so much healing, and they will get the ace on top of JDG. Top Esports, this is looking all but done.
What a great flank coming out from 369. Sets up the play. Zhuo flashes in and uses the ultimate. We see the dynamics there from both teams. Kanavi is happy with the Samira jumping into him. But the shields from Knight, the flash away from Jackeylove, it was all she wrote. And now the gold lead is really starting to open. And that soul point that we were talking about, you know, it's 5 minutes further away. It's in the back of our minds.
That's the big thing when you talk about these dragons. If they had gotten on JDG, that's a win condition. Then all of a sudden you're in a driving seat to be able to force an engagement where they have to go for you. But a fantastic flank from 369 just catches out Yagao, who had just lost his flash in the last engagement.
I love it. I love doesn't matter 369's laning phase. He's coming around, cutting off the members of JDG. Right here, look at Kanavi. He's soloing Jackeylove. But the shield from Orianna and the flash comes out. 369 on the back. Loken is too weak to even deal with the Gragas, and like you pointed out, Zoom is alone. But the thing I liked about this fight was you saw the ways JDG would want to play it. Renekton and Olaf are fine playing into that Samira, but top esports are ahead. They do have the displacement tools and the shields to make room for Jackeylove and to win out in the end.
Well, Knight finds himself a ward. Do they look to try and engage on him? They do, but it is just a very lonely Lvmao for the moment. TP is being channeled. The Paddle Star misses. Knight forced to flash away as he's being taken down. But there's just nothing you can do against this Samira. The Samira is too far ahead. Knight was just too big of a catch for them to pass up. JDG, they're trying their very, very best, but top esports are just running them down. There's just nothing that JDG can do.
And Baron's about to come up, so top esports, even if they don't find these picks, which it looks like they will, should be able to turn this into that big purple worm.
3 kills off of that, what seemed like a very good opportunistic pick there for JDG. They're going to be able to turn straight away onto this Baron. It's 14 kills to 2. It is just becoming harder and harder and harder to see how JDG come back into this, because yes, the gold lead isn't that far ahead, but that is an 8-0 for Samira at 20 minutes. She's going to have 3 items at 20 minutes, and you're looking at the Vayne, who barely has 1.
I agree, and you don't even have, the ability to really get the heal cutting on the side of JDG right now. Sure, you do have Oblivion Orb on Yagao, but, is Jackeylove going to be standing in the front for Yagao to just hit those paddle stars on to apply that heal cutting? I don't think so. It's going to be quite a difficult time for JDG. And for TES, they're holding with tradition. They 2-0'd JDG in both regular seasons in 2020. They actually even did it in 2019. So even going back to 2019 summer, they're keeping true with, hey, doesn't matter about playoffs. In the regular season, we take down JDG.
We get that dub in the regular season, and funny thing is, had Yagao landed that paddle star, I feel like Knight dies. And I know that might be a silver lining or a what if and a but it just feels like it's just becoming harder and harder for JDG to get anything going for them. And you can't be missing these skill shots. You can't be missing the potential damage that you'll be putting down. And this is what separates the good teams from the great teams. Is that, yes, you might have pop-off performances, you might be a good player, but if you're not able to bring it when you need it most, it's just not going to help you.
I also love that we're seeing 369 going to this weird build of the Chem Tank and the Cosmic Drive. He's just all about the movement speed coming out. He just wants to be able to get around and get onto the likes of JDG.
Oh, well, we'll have to stop you there. There we go. Straight away, Paddlestar landed, but he's just burnt out straight away. Jackeylove jumped on, but he's got the Inferno trigger, so no one can aggress on top of him. Show jumps in and catches Loken. The Vayne was putting out the DPS, but no longer. Zoom is still alive just beside his supporter Lvmao, but there's just nowhere for them to go. They can rush up mid. They've got a big minion wave. This could be an ending.
I think this is over, Penguin. Like you said, the Samira is just too big. Zhuo as well, kind of gone under the radar, having a great rel performance. They're just going to end it.
Yep, they're going to be able to go for these turrets. As I said, there was a massive wave in that mid lane. They get the inhibitor. They're going to be able to take down Nexus turret number 1 and number 2. And that is going to be potentially the game. Still early in terms of the damage you can get in. But the Inferno trigger on top of the shockwave puts any doubt in my mind that this is going to be a 23-minute decimation of JDG, and top esports are firmly back in their